Can I opt for a cesarean section? That's what so many of our patients would ask us, and I would like to know why. Why are you asking for a cesarean section? What is it that you are fearing or avoiding by not going through a cesarean section? So, do you know your reason why? And second of all, do you know a person who would do what you're asking them to do? Because everything has its risks and consequences. And when you ask for something, I just want you to know that you understand all the risk that is associated with what you're asking. So normally, most patients, like I have worked in hospitals where there was no epidural available, and I have worked with hospitals where there is epidural available. And in both places, patients would still ask for cesarean section. So some of them would fear pain. And for that, I would say, like, okay, if you're scared of pain, we can give you epidural. But epidural has its own consequences and risk. Some patients will be like, no, I just don't want to wait. I don't want you to take me to full dilatation and then take me for cesarean. Because that happens too sometimes, right? Like they just don't want to wait and they don't want to take any risk that can go, like of all the things that can go wrong when we are trying to go for a normal delivery. And for them, I would tell them, like, how do you know that the cesarean is going to be perfect? How do you know? Because people think cesarean is a shortcut and nothing can go wrong. Now, personally speaking, when I was pregnant with my daughter, like I didn't have a life coach. I barely had a physician of my own. Why? Because I was already a physician. I was already doing what can this person help me with? I already know about it. That's what was my attitude. And I was very clear that I want a cesarean section because I didn't want the risk of hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy for my kid. Like there were this one or two complications that I would imagine I don't want. And trust me, for 9 months while I was pregnant, I would see those complications happening and I would be like, it's gonna happen to me. Yeah. So I was very clear I wanted cesarean, and I knew very clearly who is that one person who's gonna do that cesarean for me. And for 9 months, I kept on running behind her and be like, you're gonna do my cesarean, right? You're gonna do my cesarean, right? And by I think 7th, 8th month, I was very sure that if she decides to not do my cesarean, I'm gonna go back to India. I'm gonna ask my father to do it. I'm gonna ask my friends to do it. They're gonna do my cesarean. All this while, I was like, I want cesarean. Obsessive thinking. And then what happened is when the time came that she agreed to do my cesarean, she's consenting me. She told me, Rashmi, you do know there is a risk of cesarean. You can bleed, you can have infections, you can have complications of anesthesia, you can have a blood clot, you can have the next cesarean might be complicated. There can be like hematomas, all sort of weird complications. And for a moment I was like, oh yeah, all of that can happen even with her because I have seen her having those complications. So she was not perfect. So here I was in my mind thinking she's a perfect person who can never do any complications. But in that moment I realized that, oh, it's possible that even she can mess it up. And at that moment, I was like, oh, I'm not going to think about that, obviously. She's not. That's my brain fooling me. Listen, I want a cesarean by her only. So on the day of my surgery, I was like, okay, all up. And all my baby's milk, everything I had already expressed. Carried my lunch bag and I went to the hospital and she was not there. And I was like, listen, guys, I mean, I work in the same organization. If she's not there, I'm leaving. She's like, no, she's coming. So she came, she did the cesarean, and I got everything. just the way I wanted. My baby came out, the cesarean was uneventful, everything was fine. And then I had to breastfeed my child. That was a decision which I had taken that I'm gonna do, and I had no idea how to control it. And it was hell. The cesarean and delivery was the easy part. Whereas taking care of this baby and feeding her round the clock, I have to feed her, it was so painful. That part, I didn't know how to control. So, what I want for you is, yes, you think you can control situations, a part of your life you can control. And when you're trying to control that, know what you're asking for. Know if you are asking for a cesarean section, know the risk associated with it. And be very clear about what you want and why you want it. And are you willing to take the other risk? And are you scared that she's going to mess it up? Because I was not. I was like, no, I have full faith in you. Even if you don't have faith in you, I don't care. I have full faith in you that you're going to do a good job. And I'm going to have my baby. I'm going to have no complications. And I didn't, because I believed in it. But that's not how our patients think. Our patients get scared too. They're like, oh no, she doesn't know what she's doing. And when you think that, shit happens. So tell me, who can control? The same person who does thousands of cesarean sections, no complication, she'll have a complication with you because you asked for it. Think about it.